everyone, my name is Alex. Welcome to my channel, The Endless Shelf. Today I'm going to be bringing you my January reading wrap-up. In the month of January, I read 5 books, which I think is pretty decent for me. I'm slightly ahead of schedule with my Goodreads reading challenge, and I'm still doing pretty well with my bookish resolutions. January brought me some great reads and some average reads. And the first book I read was Illuminae by Amie Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. Illuminae is a YA science fiction novel told in an epistolary format through emails and documents and instant messages, and is really beautiful visually. It's about Katie and Ezra, a couple who break up on the day that their planet is invaded in the year 2575, and takes off from there as the citizens of that planet are trying to escape their invaders. I won't go into too much detail with the thoughts that I had for this book because I did talk about it in my last video, which I will link for you right up here if you'd like to check that out. I gave it 3.5 stars, and I know with my thoughts on the book and my rating I am in the minority, but it's just one girl's opinion. Next up, I read Everything Everything by Nicole Yoon. Everything Everything is a book about a girl who, true to the title, is allergic to everything and has gone through her life just accepting the way that things are and making the most of it when one day a family moves in next door and she is drawn to a boy named Ollie. So young romance and complications galore. This book was getting a lot of attention over the summer and I had been meaning to pick it up but only just now got around to it. It has such a beautiful cover and a really great concept. I enjoyed it but not an incredible amount. I gave the book 3.5 stars. I do definitely think this is an important, diverse read, and I do recommend people to read it if they're looking for a YA contemporary. There's also illustrations involved which are done by the author's husband. It's definitely a unique and diverse read. After that, I read 10,000 Skies Above You by Claudia Gray. 10,000 Skies Above You is the second book in the Firebird trilogy, the first of which is titled 1,000 Pieces of You. I won't go into detail about what the second book is about, but the first book follows Marguerite Kane, who is the daughter of 2 physicists who have created a device to travel between dimensions by consciousness. Her father has just been killed, and the murderer, which is one of his student assistants, jumps with that device, which is called the Firebird, into another dimension, and Marguerite follows him. This is a really unique story about alternate versions of yourself and different dimensions and how one might be more developed than another. I gave 10,000 Skies Above You a 4-star rating, and when I had read 1,000 Pieces of You, I also gave that a 4-star rating. I highly recommend that you start this series. It has a great pace, a constant level of action, really great world building between all of the dimensions, and a truly realistic romance. The 4th book I read in January was November 9 by Colleen Hoover. This story follows the characters of Fallon and Ben, who meet each other on the last day that Fallon is in LA. She is set to move to New York, and a type of romance buzz between them. They decided to meet up for the next 5 years on the same date and not have contact in between. And as Colleen Hoover's books seem to do, they take an interesting twist, but this book made me see that Colleen Hoover's writing is probably not for me. This is the second novel that I've picked up by her. Just based on reading Ugly Love and this one, I just seem to find her characters lopsided. Both of these books had a male character who had pretty great character development and a female character who's pretty much there to just move it along. That kind of bothers me. I gave November 9 3 stars. And the final book that I read in the month of January was Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I read this book as my first ever buddy read with Joss from Squibbles Reads and her friend Ashley. This book follows Alina Starkov, an orphan who is a part of an army in a country torn apart that have members called the Grisha, who are skilled in what's called the small science and are able to manipulate certain things and basically have really cool superpowers. I gave this book a 4-star rating. I thought it was fantastic. I'm so glad that I'm finally getting into the Grishaverse. I can't help but being a girly girl, and I loved the descriptions of the clothing, and sorry not sorry, I am a fan of the Darkling. I think Leigh Bardugo did a fantastic job in creating this world. I can't wait to continue with the series and pick up Six of Crows as well. Those were all of the books that I read in the month of January. Please let me know down below if you have read any of these books and your thoughts on them, and let me know what your favorite read was in the month of January. The links to all my social media will also be in the description box so you can keep up with my thoughts thoughts and my current reads in real time. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!